dating can be a tricky game. When you do one thing, everything else can go down the drain. With that, our dating culture sucks today. If you have an argument or a hard conversation, the other person might want to leave. People today also assume that when someone does something wrong or something that they don't like, that's a valid excuse for them to leave. It's like everyone is trying to find the perfect partner, but in reality, you have to accept the imperfections. Back in my day, I made tons of dating mistakes that made her want to leave. Whether it be the first date or the 10th date, here are the mistakes I made that you can avoid. First thing is that you keep trying to flex or impress her. You might not realize this, but trying to flex on your date about your status is a big turnoff for her. Of course, you should have some money to at least pay for the date, but you shouldn't flex your money. From the media today, you might think that having money is the only way you can attract women. That's not the case. You have to be able to provide for her, but you don't have to take her to fancy dates every single time. For me, I like to go on walks with her or go to at least a small coffee shop, have deep conversations, or if you live near a beach, go on a walk on a beach. What I'm trying to say is that you need to prioritize the experience more than the price tag. If you make her experience better, then that date will be more memorable. Of course, a fancy date is somewhat memorable, but going on a walk on a beach, playing mini golf, something more intimate like that is better. If you do come across a date who dazzles over your money, leave them. Those are low quality women who just want you for your money, not you. So, don't try to flex your money or status to any woman that you want to date. When you do this, you'll only attract the low quality woman. The second mistake, which I'm a big proponent of, is texting too much. Like I said, this is one of the biggest flaws that I had back in my whole high school days, middle school days, when I'm trying to find that girlfriend. Back in the day, I pretty much only texted because I was afraid of the way that I talked. I was a coward behind the screen, and it costed me a lot. For example, which this is something that you should never do, but when I was texting my date, if they don't respond, I would try to double text or triple text because I want a response. Or before the date, I would text her a lot because I was excited to get to know her more. But when the date comes by, we don't really know what to talk about because we had already basic conversations and many conversations over text. When you text too much and you prioritize a conversation over text, those are just the biggest turnoffs during the date. The date was awkward because I didn't have anything to talk about, and that made the date awkward, which means that experience was bad. That's why you should use text to only schedule your dates. Of course, once you establish being exclusive partners, you can text however much you want. But during the new dating phase, avoid texting. Though when I was double texting or triple texting or texting her all the time, that just made me look desperate. And when you look desperate, you look like a big loser who just wants attention. You have all the time in the world where you can text her and respond because nothing important is going on in your life. And when you don't have anything important going on in your life, like a job or you're building something, that just makes you look like a loser who isn't trying to pursue anything in their life. I get it, man. You're excited to know her, you're excited to text her, but you have to keep that mystery and tension. Don't overtext. Schedule that day only for text. And once you actually are in an exclusive relationship, if you don't see her much in person, then text. So set up the dates, confirm the meeting, time, and location. It's way easier to build that connection in person. Don't be like me who was avoiding the face to face conversations. Overcome that fear and talk to her in person. The third mistake is that you try to rush the bases. I get it, man. You're excited to get to know her more and you're excited to move on to the next base. You have this strong sexual tension and desire for her and you want to secure her because you like her a lot. But hold on, man. You have to slow down. Personally, for me, I like to keep it slow. Personally, I have some rules that I follow myself. So on the first date, one, I don't have sex, and two, I don't kiss her. You might criticize me for that, but I would only kiss her on the second date. We have this long conversation, I get to know her more. Then I need some time to sit and think if I actually like her. Because when you kiss her, that's kind of saying that you want to go to the next level. And I want you to do the same. Sit, evaluate if you actually like her a lot, see if your values match, and if you see her in your future. A lot of men ruin the date because they rush through the dating phase. They can't control their sexual desires, so they just want sex right now. If your only goal is to have sex and you're so lustful towards her, that's just a big turnoff. I get it, man. You want to secure that spot where you just want to kiss her on the first date because you want to be exclusive. You want to show that you actually like her. And with that, you don't want to be lonely. But guess what? She might be low quality or you don't actually have matching values or the same vision for the future, which in long term, you're going to end up in a breakup. Take your time. Personally, I wouldn't have sex until 1 to 2 months in of dating. Most of the time, we're driven by lust. Once you take that out of the equation, you have to actually see if you like her. Like I said, if you only like her because of lust, the relationship will not last. Your relationship will crumble once you find her sexually unattractive or if you don't match her values. Like I said, you have to really get to know her to evaluate if she's a great partner. That's why you have to take each base really slowly. And I get it, man. You might feel lonely and you don't want to miss out. But that's just loser behavior. It's okay to feel lonely, but it isn't okay to rush things because of your feelings. Take each base slow, build the tension, get to know her hobbies, interests, and values. Don't let it be a lust driven relationship. The fourth mistake is that you constantly compliment her. This might be controversial, but you shouldn't be complimenting your date so much. Of course, compliment her style or her skills, but don't do it every single day or 5 times a day. For example, if you tell her that she's beautiful 5 times a day, it gets repetitive. Plus, many men probably already tell her this, so it's nothing new to her. The more something you do or have, the less value it has. So, for example, paper. There's a large abundance of paper, so that means it's pretty cheap. But when you have something rare like diamonds or certain metal like gold or silver or platinum, those cost a lot more because they're rare. So to translate this, if you compliment her so many times, especially using the same type of compliments, it gets annoying, it gets old, and there's no value with it. Plus, there's lots of guys who already compliment her 24/7, so if you don't compliment her 24/7, then you look different. This used to be my biggest problem because it was really easy to compliment over text because you're hiding behind your screen and you don't really see a reaction, but you feel safe to send it, like a risky text. So with that, don't compliment her over text as well. So what should you do? My rule of thumb is to compliment her every other day or when I see her in person. Try to compliment something specific about her, like her style, the way she does something, or her intelligence or thought process. Don't make yourself a cliche that nobody wants to hear. The last mistake that you should avoid is losing focus on yourself. This topic was difficult for me because I was lost in the sauce. I was excited to get to know her more, so I kept constantly texting. Like I said before, I would constantly text her, which means I would drop my personal obligations as well. Do not drop your personal obligations for her. Continue to work out and work at your job. Don't drop your passion or your dreams of making a business. Keep being you and making yourself happy. Women add additional benefits. They aren't the main source of your happiness or your safety. I see a lot of men in my past where they prioritize her more than himself. That's why you see a lot of men who go into relationships skinny end up being chubby. They're more invested in the relationship where they stop prioritizing themselves. They don't work out. They like to find the comfortable thing in their life and keep it the same way. Basically, they stop taking care of themselves and they end up forgetting about their passions or that business that they wanted to start. Be strong with your schedule. Don't move things for other people. When you have that date, schedule it around your own schedule. From my experience, it is unattractive to her when you drop things for her. Sure, it may seem romantic when you drop something for her, but deeply, it's simping behavior. She'll start seeing a man who isn't on his purpose anymore, who isn't trying to build that kingdom. When you stop building yourself, your quality starts to decrease because you're only invested in her. You're not invested in yourself anymore. That's why you see high divorce rates. Men are just comfortable in that relationship or that dating phase where they don't want to grow anymore. They're comfortable. They aren't seeking to grow anymore or take that uncomfortable path that would yield them better results than the life they have right now. And with being comfortable, they start eating like shit. They game all day, smoke weed, eat junk food or McDonald's or bags of chips or beer. This is unattractive to her because you're out of your masculine energy. You're just sitting all day, lounging, going to work, coming back home, watching and sitting. You actually aren't building anything for your life. You aren't pursuing anything. You aren't attacking anything. You aren't going for anything in your life. That just puts you out of your masculine energy, which is unattractive. So, continue to work on yourself. Don't lose your focus or purpose when you're with her. Find a woman who values your growing and your priorities. And lastly, don't become a loser who can't see his pee-pee anymore. I know it's harsh, but I want the best for you. Remember, go improve it. And if you haven't already, watch the latest video right here.